12 keeping their spot at the table. Now, we talked about this before. The Big 12 recognized that they needed to become a national conference and more of a national conference before the Pac-12 figured out that they needed to be more than a one-region conference. Also, Brett Yormark on October 30, 2022 struck gold when he was able to get the media rights deal all done, signed, sealed, and delivered with Fox and ESPN when the Pac-12 previously turned that offer down. So Brett Yormark, he got the job done when Kliavkoff did not for the Pac-12. But there's also another key element to Brett Yormark's strategy in keeping the Big 12 having their spot at the table. Welcome to episode 388 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugart. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Let's not waste any more time. Now, look, this article is not directly tied to college football, but I think it's in the scope of PATC to cover this article yesterday by Mac Engel, the Star Telegram. We provide a link in the description box. You can read the whole thing. College sports is run by football. So why is the Big 12 betting big on basketball? With the college basketball season over, now we can turn our attention to the games that really matter. Conference realignment and the exact time of the ACC's implosion. As much as this topic exhausts and irritates fans and who just want to watch the games, who put them on a nervously purpose a variety of just-in-case scenarios around the country, these aren't doomsday scenarios, but rather a series of potential what-if chess moves. We all now live on the SEC and the Big Ten's chessboard. This includes you, NCAA. Even if you're not a king or a queen on this board, you're okay with being a rook or a pawn too. Looking at you, Nebraska. Holy smokes. Elbow thrown at Nebraska. The ACC and the Big 12 are in a death struggle to retain their spots. Number 3 on the 4-conference power poll rankings. Where they sit typically depends on where you live. To keep its spot, the Big 12 is doubling down not on football, but rather basketball, because all the premier names in college football belong to the SEC and the Big 10. The Big 12 sees its future as being the best basketball brand in the sport. As the Big East has demonstrated, this can work, but the Big 12's vision has a challenge. The Big East does not football. Since he was hired as the commissioner of the Big 12, Brett Yormark has made it no secret that he believes basketball is an undervalued property. As football continues to eat up more of the basketball season by expanding its playoffs, this is a calculated but necessary risk. It's the best way to keep our spot at the table. One Big 12 athletic director said, it's the best way, the best pathway for the Big 12 to keep their spot at the table sitting along the SEC and the Big 10. That table is of ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS, Turner, or any other potential media rights partner that wants to dump money into live sporting events. Think Amazon Prime, perhaps Apple TV too in the future. The Big 12 leaning more into basketball means it will prioritize the schools that make that sport its priority among the remaining ACC teams when that league crumbles. When Clemson and Florida State leave, according to people familiar with these hypothetical conversations, Duke, Virginia Tech, North Carolina State, Pittsburgh, Louisville, Miami are in the conversation of the Big 12's potential wish list. The early thought on the ACC's breakup has Virginia, North Carolina headed to the Big 10 at least. Clemson and Florida State march to the SEC, as you know, peek around the corner, does not have that scenario. However, back to the article. These scenarios are awash in challenges both monetarily and politically. With Arizona and Kansas, adding Duke would give the Big 12 three of the top brands in basketball. Throw in the league member Houston, and that's a potential Final Four. The Big 12 had previously flirted with basketball power Gonzaga University. That potential union never moved beyond the conversation phase, primarily because of football. The Zags don't have a football team. Duke's football program will never be known as USC's East, but the Blue Devils have made 8 bowl games since 2012. Historically, it's a challenge when one or few schools don't have football, but the remaining league members do. It was a challenge in the old Big East before that league executed a reimagined version of itself where football isn't part of the equation. The only Big East member with an FBS football program is UConn, which plays as an independent. Even without football, the 11-team Big East has proven that a league can survive and thrive in the current landscape of college athletics where all the money is driven from the gridiron. The league, the Big East, is swimming quite nicely. The wrinkle to this is for the Big 12 is football. The Big East is doing well with men's basketball because nearly all the available resources from the respective member institutions of those athletic departments in the Big East, it goes to the sport of basketball. The majority of the NIL collective money at that Marquette goes to basketball. Same for Creighton, same for UConn, St. John's, and the rest. At the Big 12 schools, if football isn't first, it's close. And that includes Kansas. The Big 12's future is about the leagues creating a product that has enough value that a future media rights deal keeps it within a binoculars view of the SEC and the Big Ten. As much as college basketball has changed over the years, and its lack of familiar faces for fans hurts the marketability of the product, it has value. It does. Not like football, but it does have value. The Big 12 is betting on the game and itself. On a chessboard that is now run by the Big 10 and the SEC, this may be the Big 12's best move to ensure it avoids checkmate. Put down your comments and thoughts in the comment section below the video. Going the basketball route, focusing on, of course, is always going to focus on football. Football drives the bus. But basketball, the value of basketball, if it rises up, and it just may, look at the women's basketball tournament this year. Holy smokes. The eyeballs on the women's game, men's game, the tournament possibly expanding. The units in the women's basketball tournament, they might deliver the revenue differently. In other words, the more successful you are in the women's tournament, the more money your school and conferences are going to make. It's probably going to be a big change. Having said all that, the Big 12's key to keeping their spot at the table, when all the big football brands have gone to the Big 10 or the SEC, or they're going to here in the near future when the ACC implodes, the Big 12's best bet to keep their spot at the table is to really value basketball, which, come to think of it, once again, UConn won another championship, national championship in men's basketball. Women's basketball program, men's basketball program, holy smokes, the UConn Huskies. You remember when, before this last year, 2023, early, Brett Yormark, he's trying to cash in his political IOUs that he well deserved to have as commissioner of the Big 12 because of the work he done to expand the Big 12 to get out ahead of the Pac-12. Brett Yormark tried to cash some of those chips in that he earnfully gained by his great work to get UConn in the door in the Big 12. But the Big 12 presidents balked at it. I wonder what they're thinking about now. I wonder how they're thinking about it now. UConn's basketball isn't going away. If the value of basketball keeps increasing, maybe the Big 12 needs to take another look at UConn Huskies. Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comments section below the video. UConn's going to have to bring in their football program. And I don't think UConn's going to I don't think they're going to shovel their football program into the great abyss anytime soon, even though it costs the university money up front. So when the ACC does implode, and I think it's going to happen, when you're talking about candidates for the Big 12 to eat at the ACC's table, once the SEC and the Big 10 eats first, don't forget about UConn. There could be one of those 2 additions that the Big 12 makes. It could happen. UConn basketball, it's pretty valuable. And the media market that they're in is something that Brett Yormark enjoys. He's from there. So, anyways, put down your comments and thoughts in the comments section below the video. What do you think of Brett Yormark's strategy? I happen to think he knows what he is doing to make sure that the Big 12 avoids the SEC and the Big 10's checkmate. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.